voice of your brother. I thought I won't be part of your family. You really sold it, so the way you wrote it, you could not have loved me more perfectly. I love who you are and what you love. I want who you are and what you want. I love what you are and who you love. And I found the one who saw it all.
Hi, my name is Mashanta and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm super excited to have you here. Today is a different video of sorts. I usually talk about beauty, but at the beginning of the year, I did film a video about how I'm trying to make 2024 my best year yet. I listed out all the goals that I had kept for myself and all the systems and habits that I was working towards setting up to make sure I achieve those goals. Now, my initial plan was to be able to come here and give you quarterly updates, but I had some unexpected travel planned, a lot of unexpected personal situations arise because of which I couldn't film this video before, but I do believe better late than never. So I'm here in front of you to come and film a quarterly update. So I can't call it quarterly because we're already in May, so it's like a 4-monthly update. I hope you find that interesting and I hope you will stick around. I do have my laptop here with me, and of course I will link the other video where I talk about my 2024 goals, systems, habits in case you haven't seen that before, because I will keep referencing them a lot in today's video. I use Notion, by the way, to keep track of all of this. I'm not a regular advanced user of Notion. It's something that I've dabbled in and out. It's still a work in progress. You can use even a Word document, Excel, anything that works for you. When I planned my goals for 2024, I had divided it into different dimensions: health, professional, personal, relationships, and financial. I will talk through what I did, what my reflections, learnings are, and of course what my goals for the next quarter are. For health, I had a bunch of output metrics, namely I wanted to lose 30 kgs in 2024. Very lofty goal, I know. And to be autoimmune condition free. If I was diagnosed with eczema in 2023, but I've been suffering from it before that. Some people have called it eczema, some people have called it psoriasis, but I think safe to say I do have an autoimmune condition which has been quite difficult to deal with, especially with work stress. For me, the goal in 2024 was to completely eliminate that condition through lifestyle interventions and less of medical interventions. Of course, from an input metric standpoint, I had a bunch of input habits here, which I will sort of mention here. Now, in terms of how I did from Jan to April, so from a workout standpoint, across the 120 days that you have from Jan to April, 121 days, I had worked out for around 40 days, which represents a 33% achievement, implies a workout once every 3 days. You have to note that I haven't reduced days that I've been sick. I felt really sick in Jan. I was out for 2 weeks. I couldn't get out of bed. So traveling a lot. I traveled around 2 weeks in March and most of April. True lifestyle change is for you to be able to follow that habit irrespective of changes in your situation. So I've realized that I need to figure out a system or protocol for how I work out or stay committed to my fitness even if I'm traveling. I'm supposed to be gluten-free and dairy-free. This varies for each person, but what I've realized works for me is if I eliminate gluten from my diet, I see an most immediate improvement in my eczema condition. It just needs 3-4 days and my body starts resetting. So that's something I really need to work on, which I was just terrible at. Like, there's no excuse there. I think it's important for me to explore internally why it's been so difficult to follow that, especially when I know the physical repercussions are so bad. My steps count was terrible. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think Jan to March, my average step count for the month has been around 2,000 to 3,000 a day. In April, I was traveling. It increased to around 6,000 steps a day, but honestly not enough, especially if I have physical goals and fitness goals around losing weight. In journal, I journaled maybe 4-5 times this year. Yeah, like there's no excuse there. I just noticed that life is like a continuous stretch of nothingness when I don't document it. So I think it's really important for personal tracking and progress monitoring to really journal, to stay in touch with myself. It really helped me in 2023. There were a lot of times where I would just wake up and cry in 2023. And when I started journaling, I realized it was such a healthy way to tackle that, both journaling and exercising. That's why I wanted to focus on health. I did get my blood work done. I wanted to have a chiropractic visit every quarter. I didn't really have any pain, so I didn't want to go and have that additional expense of a chiropractor. But I know from a wellness standpoint, it's such a good investment. So I think once I get my exercise routine down, where I'm like working out 5-6 times a week, then I feel it just makes better sense for me to have a chiropractor. So those are my health updates. From a professional standpoint, a lot of exciting updates. My last working day was in March. I really enjoyed my previous place of work. I made wonderful friends, colleagues. It was a super exciting mandate. March was my last day. I don't have another job lined up. Like I said, my focus has been health for this year. So I'm actually in the mode of just taking a break from the corporate world to focus on health. And of course, if there is a very exciting opportunity that comes along that makes sense for me to explore in my area of interest, I would never say no to that. As a consequence of that, there's just a lot of uncertainty in my life, but I have honestly been loving this, and I've surprised myself in terms of my attitude towards this uncertainty. I genuinely don't know what I will do next, but I just feel like the world is my oyster and there's just so many possibilities, and I have so many major dreams, this YouTube channel being one of them. I've been spending a lot of time visualizing, manifesting, dreamlining, and trying to figure out a path to that, and that's been very, very exciting to me. So when I think about my professional life, I actually think about it with a lot of excitement for the future, a lot of anticipation for the future, and honestly, I've been loving exploring all the possibilities to figure out what to do. I really hope I keep up this energy for the rest of the year and I don't get bogged down, because when you are from the corporate world, you're so used to like being part of the rat race, running, comparing yourself to others. I really hope I don't fall into that trap. I have fallen into that trap my entire life, and honestly, I feel at this point I feel comfortable, confident enough to try to dissociate myself from that entire rat race. I'm still observant of the corporate world. I don't want to completely bury my head in the sand in case there are any very good opportunities that come up. So I have updated my resume. I am passively looking out in case there's any exciting role. I'm just keeping an eye out. When it comes to social media, I was super ambitious. I had like output goals for all platforms. On Instagram I have multiple channels, right? So for all my channels on Instagram, for YouTube obviously, and also TikTok. And I've realized two things. One is it's really important to be focused, and second, no point spreading yourself too thin. On YouTube, when I started the year, I was around 684, and at the time of making this video, I'm at around 827. So not crazy growth, but some steady growth. Like it clearly shows that there is an audience for what I'm putting out there. I think I'm on the right direction, and if you are part of my community, thank you so much for taking the time out to subscribe and to stay connected. In terms of the inputs, I put out 13 long form videos, which across 4 months is roughly 3 videos a month, 71 shorts. So obviously shorts are much easier to create and put up. In terms of my long form content, I haven't figured out a schedule for uploads. My system is still shaky in terms of how I create and upload. So that's something I really need to work on. I really started to focus on TikTok only this year, and I put up nearly 94 pieces of content, which is pretty surprising. I didn't realize I had put so much up. It's been interesting because at the start of the year, I think on TikTok I had like 30 followers, and I would say 2 of my dance videos blew up. Right now I think I have 1560 or 1570 followers, which is crazy to me. However, I feel like the audience that has found me, at least till last week, was not the audience that I was catering to. It was a lot of men. Dance videos just appeal to them, I don't know. And so that made me feel a little uncomfortable, quite a lot uncomfortable at the beginning, and I tried to find out ways in which I could make sure more women, more people like me who are who are focusing on self-improvement and are multi-passionate find my channel rather than men. I mean, no offense, but you get what I mean, right? I mean, the internet is full of creeps, and I just wasn't sure if I was comfortable with that. I think that has started changing since last week, so I do find some women coming and discovering me, which is very, very exciting. On LinkedIn, I think I really fell off the rails on LinkedIn. I was able to put up 4 posts on LinkedIn. In case you don't know, I was with the corporate world for nearly 10 years across management consulting, beauty, fashion, luxury, and loyalty. I put a lot of commentary and narratives. I would say 80% of that focuses on the beauty sector because that's clearly my passion. But I've also started branching out to like other businesses that I have experience in, namely e-commerce and loyalty strategy. I have around 1860 followers on LinkedIn at the time that I'm mentioning this. It won't be a major focus in this upcoming quarter, but I will still try to put out 1 post per week. And I think I will really double down on this platform around Q3 and Q4. I've deprioritized Instagram as a platform because it is just not conducive to growth. I have had for example, I've had a beauty channel on Instagram which has been stuck at like 530-ish followers for like 2 years, and it's not like I've not updated stuff there. I just don't want to fall into the numbers trap, numbers game on Instagram at all, so I'm just letting it go. It's just more my personal documentary, and if anybody wants to track me and check that out, then you can feel free to do so. I'll put all my Instagram accounts here or here. My leg has like fallen asleep. So now on to my personal goals. So I had a bunch of personal goals. The first personal goals was around learning how to drive and getting my driver's license. I am ashamed to admit that I'm in my early 30s and I still haven't learned how to drive. I am not sure if we need a car. I think it just makes sense to learn driving if I have the opportunity to practice it. And honestly, I don't know if it makes financial sense for us to rent a car or buy a car. I really need to run the numbers, see if it makes sense for us to go that route. If it doesn't, then this goal kind of gets struck off the list, and that's absolutely fine. Your focus changes, your priorities change during the year, what you learn changes, and it's okay to adjust your goals, recalibrate your goals. Second, in terms of reading, my aim for this year is to do 52 books a year, which is 1 book per week, which means in Jan to April I should have done 16 books, but I've only done 12 books. Not too bad because I know I can make up. I'm a fairly fast reader, I just have starting trouble. It's been a healthy mix of fictional and non-fiction. Let me know if that's something that you would be interested in. I love reading, I love talking about books. So I'm very happy to create a dedicated video of my quarterly roundup of books or monthly roundup of books if you're interested in it. So for dancing, I wanted to do 36 choreographies for the year, which is roughly 3 per month. 4 months in, out of the 12 that I was supposed to do, I only did 3 choreographies. A big reason of that is in my head, I built up a dance choreography to be like this major production, hair and makeup and costume, and it really doesn't have to be that. The 3 that I did were, I think, very casual, and one of them I'm actually very happy with. In my head, I should dissociate myself from being hung up on how perfect it is. Like, perfection has really been my enemy, especially in the world of dancing. The second aspect is I've had some really bad flare-ups. I really haven't been able to go into practice sessions. So while I had a goal of 100 practice sessions this year, I really think I'll be able to work on it only say June or July onwards. It just goes to show that sometimes things outside your control can really throw a curveball, and it's fine. You just need to accept it and move on. I did have goals on singing. I've also learned Carnatic music. I've never used to sing professionally, but I've always used to sing up until my 20s. I just miss practice. I don't have major goals in terms of singing professionally. I feel like as I've grown older, I'm able to appreciate music a lot more. I miss it. So the goal was to sing or practice twice per week, which translates to 104 sessions per year. I haven't sung once. No excuses. I'm hoping at least I start around June, July in terms of actual singing, because May, just when I look at my calendar and look at all the personal commitments that we have, it seems like there's just a lot to do. I wanted to cook at least 24 times this year, which translates to twice per month. I have cooked, now some people might call this cook, some people might not, But I cook several times, and I cook two dishes: pesarattu, which is like a green lentil dosa pancake, and Maggi. Now, for somebody who doesn't even use the stuff, this is a big deal. So I'm still going to count these two dishes. In terms of podcasts, I love podcasts. I love listening to it. The aim was to listen to 100 podcast episodes and try to distill at least 50% of them in terms of takeaways and share my thoughts. I've actually done 29, which is very good. And these have been split between 9 podcasts by Colin and Samir, who make a lot of podcasts on the creator economy, the creator world. Very, very exciting. Deep dive with Ali Abdal, which was around 4. Then the Tim Ferriss podcast, I've listened to 6. Then Ramit Sethi's financial podcast, where he interviews couples who want to get their finances in order. It's been very, very illuminating. I've done 9 of Ramit Sethi. There's some ad hoc ones which I don't know why I haven't listed here. There is the Silicon Valley Girl with Vivian Tu. I definitely would have listened to A Diary of a CEO by Steve Bartlett, Andrew Huberman. So I'm wondering if I've understated what I've listened to, but I think a podcast is a habit I've been very good at, especially in Jan and Feb this year. Writing, I wanted to write minimum 1 hour, around 5 out of 7 days. That was like such an ambitious goal. Written around 12 out of 60 times, which is still significantly a lot more than what I've ever done in the past 2-3 years. To define this goal, writing meant any sort of writing. Writing for LinkedIn, scripting, any sort of fiction writing and so on. It is doable, I'm not saying it's not. But when I'm ambitious about a bunch of other things that I want to read, I want to dance, I want to sing, I want to cook, there's no way I can do writing as well every single day. I think I need to correct this. When I talk about it in my quarterly goals, I will adjust that. Now on relationships, it was very straightforward. I wanted to have monthly check-ins with my significant other, my husband, weekly check-ins with my parents, fortnightly check-ins with my aunt. We've done pretty well in terms of a lot of honest chats and sharing our feelings and articulating them, but it's really not been that structured, which is okay. I mean, as long as you're still connected and sharing and spending valuable time with each other, that's what's important. With my parents, I think I'm in better touch with them in the sense that I talk to them on WhatsApp regularly. I don't talk to them on like phone, but I meet them once a quarter. They live in India, I live in the UAE, but I keep visiting. Like I've visited in March, I'm planning to visit in May, I'll be visiting in July again. So it's like I keep going there and visiting. I can do better when it comes to staying in touch with my aunt, who's like, by the way, shout out to my Anuchiti, who is like the biggest #1 supporter of my channel and of my social media journey. She's the first one to check my video out, to like it. I don't even know if she listens to the whole thing or watches the whole thing, but she is like the first one to like each of my videos, which is, I mean, it feels so nice when you have a cheerleader in your life, honestly. Financial, I had spoken a lot more about my financial intentions. Honestly, I am not comfortable talking about my financial goals online. I will only reference the ones that I'm comfortable talking about. So one of my goals for 2024 was to actively have a budgeting practice, which I really haven't. And I'm so happy to say that I've actually created my first ever budget from a personal budget standpoint. Obviously, professionally I've created budgets multiple times over. So I pretty much use the same principles in terms of creating my personal budget. And I've done it for May. I need to figure out a system for reconciling. But honestly, I had so much fun creating it. It needs to take as little as 1 hour per month. I'm so glad I did this. A lot of my other financial goals were around intentionality, being very intentional about when to buy, what I buy, how much I buy, and so on. Especially as it pertains to beauty, because I tend to overspend a lot. I have been pretty strategic in terms of what I buy. Like I only buy on sales, I only buy when I travel, but I have had a FOMO mindset. My last video was about a bunch of things that I bought when I traveled to New York. While I think I was super smart and intentional about what I bought, it's still a lot for a person. I feel really good about that purchase, but it's still a lot, right? Like objectively, it's still a lot. I think those are my financial update. That's a roundup of all my goals in terms of how Jan to April went. I hope you're still around because I will be talking about what goals I want to focus on for the next quarter, which is April, May, June. I mean, April is already done, but basically I have 2 months to tackle those. Okay, we're back. I have my piping hot coffee in this like really cute mug. I have really less charge, so let's quickly power through all my goals for the upcoming quarter ending June 30th, 2024. Health, I want to become 80 kgs. I want to have eczema under control by following a gluten-free and dairy-free diet. This doesn't change. I want to reach 100 days of exercise cumulatively for the year. I've currently done 40. I need to journal and reflect. I need to get better at taking my medication, which is homeo medication for my eczema and psoriasis, and also just my supplements for general health. On professional, okay, this is unfortunate because my battery died. These are my output metrics for social media. Focus continues to be YouTube, TikTok and LinkedIn in that order. So YouTube, I want to hit around 1000 followers. We are inching closer to that. We are currently at 827 and I want to hit 2000 hours of watch time. I'm currently at around 785, 87. TikTok, I want to hit 5,000 followers. I'm just touching 1,600 followers. Now LinkedIn, I want to hit 3,000 followers. I'm currently at 1850 or 1860. Now from an input metric standpoint, I want to put shorts every day on YouTube, Monday through Friday. Put 3 videos per week on YouTube. And I do want to introduce more non-beauty content, something like this live content, right? So it could be a monthly vlog, a goal setting vlog, anything like that. I do want to experiment. Please let me know any video ideas in the comments below. LinkedIn, I want to post twice per week. TikTok, I want to do 2 videos per day, which if I do my fitness content plus like 1 beauty content should work. I also want to get better in terms of establishing a system so that I plan my content 3 to 4 weeks in advance. This will help me account for illness, any random travel, any random personal situation, and this is a big learning that I took away from the first quarter. On the personal front, I want to count 16 books for the year by June 30th. Currently, I'm at 12 books. On dancing, I want to do 8 more choreographies over the next 2.5 months. Singing, practice my singing 3 times per week. That translates to roughly 24 sessions for the quarter. I want to cook at least twice. I want to listen to 20 more podcast episodes, which I think is very, very doable. And I do want to summarize my takeaways for at least 10 of them. I want to write 4 times a week, which translates to 32 times additionally in this quarter. And finally, a new goal that I'm introducing for this quarter is sketching. I do miss the tactile feeling of working with pen, paper, colors, and so on. Now, my relationship goals stay the same in terms of having structured check-ins with my SO, with my parents, and with my extended family, mainly my aunt. From a financial standpoint, I want to go through 2-3 cycles of the budgeting, reconciliation, and reflection exercise, and fine-tune and tweak my budget tracker. On spending, I do want to reduce and optimize on how much I order in from outside, and I want to only do that twice per week. I do want to focus on only strategic buys, replacement only buys. I'm very mindful. I don't want to indulge in impulse purchases or random spending, especially in beauty. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful. Those are my Q2 goals for 2024. I apologize once again for being so late in this update, but you will see me come back next in July, the first week of July, telling you how Q2 has gone and giving you an update of my thoughts, my reflections, any corrections I need to make for my goals, and also kind of share how I'm tracking against my 2024 annual goals. Just let me know. I hope you found this video helpful. I know I've spoken so much in this video. Hopefully the next time around, by then I would have gotten my system in place so I can plan better, produce better, and hopefully put more quality content out there for you. Please let me know your thoughts below. If you have any goals, please let me know. Let's cheer each other on to make sure we're all achieving and being our best selves. I will see you around. Bye.